turning off my husband's Xbox while he's in the middle of a game.
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
I was playing a game. What are you doing?
Oh, I must have hit it on accident.
You hit that little button that was lit up on accident?
Well, now that you shut it off, do you want to help me do some things around the house?
Nope. Done.
What do you mean?
I'm done. No, I'm done.
What she did is abuse. It's just not the kind that we're allowed to talk about in this culture because the word abuse in our society means harm done to a woman. But this was vindictive, it was gaslighting, it was passive aggression. But because the victim is a man, no one cares. Our culture's already decided that only women get to be victims. If you type abusive relationship into Google Images, you will see wall-to-wall pictures of men harming women. No nuance, no complexity, no truth, just propaganda with a search bar. If you type, "Why is my husband yelling at me?" into Google, you get a domestic abuse helpline. But if you type, "Why is my wife yelling at me?" into Google, you get this. Potential triggers for a wife's yelling include feeling unheard, financial stress, mental health struggles, disrespect. It doesn't make sense, right? Obviously, both men and women can be abused. So why is there this blind spot when the victim is a man? Why is it always her story that gets the spotlight? You have been told that women have it worse than men, but that is a lie. This culture doesn't care about who suffers more. It cares about who suffers louder. And women always win that game. Women don't suffer more, they just get more sympathy. When women struggle, it's a national crisis. When men suffer, they are ignored, mocked, or blamed. And despite what you have been told, this obsession with women's pain is not evidence of hardship, it's proof of privilege. Let's break this down into 4 different areas where women monopolize victimhood: abuse, work, reproductive rights, and safety. In all 4 areas, men have it just as bad or worse. The suffering for men exists. What's missing is any outrage about that. It's just silence, and that lack of concern is the real sexism in our culture. I'm going to prove this to you by going through all 4 of these areas. Let's keep going with abuse. Have you noticed that there's no male equivalent for the word nagging? When a woman criticizes or shames her partner, it's seen as quirky. It's nagging, it's mild, it's harmless, it's sitcom material. But if a man does it, it's abuse, it's controlling, it's a red flag. Her behavior is normalized, his is pathologized. You see this theme repeated over and over. Men are only allowed to operate within this tiny little box, whereas women are free to just run the field. Consider financial abuse. When you hear that term, the culture wants you to think of a man. He controls the money, he restricts what his wife is allowed to spend. That's financial abuse. But ask yourself this question: why don't we use that term when we see women like this?
I don't like 50-50. I don't do coffee dates. I don't care how much money I ever make. I still want my man to pay for everything. He should pick me up. He should drop me off. He should buy me Ubers. In exchange, he gets to not embarrass me and breathe my air. I think it's pretty fair. I think we're even Stevens. Otherwise, I don't need a man just to have a man. This is for me. For the guys who are mad, though, cry about it.
If a man limits reckless spending, that's abuse. But if a woman drains his bank account, that's just her being high maintenance. That's not okay. As a man, if you worked hard, then you deserve to spend your money on something that you like. And with that in mind, I'm very excited about today's sponsor because their product is awesome. I've lost a bunch of weight recently, which is great. The only downside is I have a bunch of pants that keep falling down. I needed some belts. I discovered Anson Belt and Buckle, and they are the coolest company. Let me explain to you how this works. Ordinary belts get sized using a little hole every inch. Anson uses a micro-adjustable track system that gives you a perfect fit every single time at quarter-inch increments. Trust me, once you try this, you'll never go back to regular belts, guaranteed. And the best part is that you can mix and match your buckles with any strap. They're all interchangeable. This gives you maximum customization for your look. It's fashionable, it's comfortable, there's no compromise. I've been wearing mine and I love them. The quality of these products is incredible. These guys have been around since 2009. They have over 40,000 5-star reviews, and they offer a lifetime guarantee. How good is that? Typically, their box set comes with 3 buckles and 2 straps, which gives you 6 different possible combinations, which is already amazing value. But because Anson Belt and Buckle are sponsoring this video, they're giving my viewers an even better deal. When you click the link in the description box or use this QR code, they're going to give you 3 buckles and 3 straps. That's 9 different combinations for the same price. That's 2 pieces completely free. So hit that link in the description, build your custom box set, and upgrade your belt game with Anson today. Okay, back to the video and our chart. We've spoken about financial abuse, but what about physical? You've been told that we focus on women in abuse cases because they're the primary victims, but that is false. else. Yes, when violence leads to serious injury, women are more likely to be hurt because men are stronger. That's biological truth. But that does not mean that men are more often violent. In fact, the opposite is true. Roughly half of all relationship violence is mutual, and when it is one-sided, 70% of the time it is the woman attacking the man. And lesbian couples are almost twice as violent as male homosexual ones. But go ahead, please tell me how toxic masculinity is the problem. The hijacking of relational abuse as a women's issue is an unforgivably disgusting and sexist sleight of hand designed to demonize men. Violence is not gendered, but sympathy is, and that's why men are erased from the conversation. Women do not suffer more, they just complain more loudly, especially in the area of work.
The gender pay gap, we are 100 years currently away from equality, which is so crazy to think about, and we're in 2023. Australia's national gender pay gap of 13% will equate to a $93,000 deficit in the super balances of women when compared to Australian men at retirement. So what that means is there are an additional 56 days per year that women must work to earn the same average pay.
Has there ever been anything more thoroughly debunked than the gender pay gap? Why won't this die? We have been fed this lie for decades that the wage gap proves sexism, that fewer female CEOs means that the system is rigged. It couldn't be that women are just less career focused, more interested in spending time with their family, having work-life balance, having a cushy, low-stress job. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that an incredible 39% of women have attempted to launch a career as an influencer. Don't you dare suggest that women can be lazy. No. They all want to be the CEO of Microsoft. It is the patriarchy that keeps them down. If you go by who complains the most, you would think that women are the only ones struggling with their careers. But let's look at the facts. Girls outperform boys in school and university. They get more degrees. There are still advancement programs and initiatives designed to help women in the workplace. The majority of cushy, white-collared work in air-conditioned offices is done by women, while actual hard labor, blue-collared work is done by men. Over 90% of workplace deaths are men, not women. Men's jobs are harder and more dangerous. So why is the national conversation about the number of female CEOs and boardroom diversity? Because the harsh truth is that we don't care if men die on mine sites. We care that the woman makes partner in her law firm. When it comes to workplace discrimination, the only story that gets any airtime is the one where a woman is suffering. But women are not struggling more than men are. They're just more practiced at spinning their narrative. Reproductive rights is another area that has been hijacked as women only. Most women across the West can get an abortion if they choose. But that right might not always be there. That's true. It could get taken away. But do you know who never gets that choice? Is a man. It's his child too, but he gets zero say. Even worse, if he wants that child to live and to raise them as a single father, he is powerless.
No, don't do it.
Daddy, don't kill our baby.
Oh my gosh. It's not right. It isn't right.
I'm such a good dad.
I know.
It's heartbreaking. But if she unilaterally decides that she does want the baby to live, the man is on the hook. Financially, he's trapped. It's not just biased. It is structurally sexist, and everyone knows it.
Okay, so why is it that if a guy gets a girl pregnant and then he decides that he doesn't want to really be in the kid's life, he doesn't want to be a father, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it, he still has to pay child support, he still has to deal with all of those responsibilities of being a father. However, if a woman gets pregnant and she decides that she doesn't want to be a mother, she can go and have an abortion and literally kill her unborn child just because she's not ready for it. And she doesn't even have to tell the father, or father has no say in the matter, and she can just be like, nah, I don't want this, and go in and kill that baby without anything. I mean, for all she knows, the father of that baby actually wanted that kid, and now she's just going off and killing it.
Women shout abortion rights like they're under attack, but the truth is that it is men who have no reproductive rights. None. Courts routinely reward primary custody to the mother. No abuse, no neglect, doesn't matter. The man still gets pushed out. Paternity fraud? Not illegal. A woman can lie, trap a man financially, and walk away with zero consequences. Just got my child support money. Casino time. Why is this tolerated? When it comes to reproductive rights, you've got women fighting for the freedom to end a pregnancy, but men fight for the chance to raise their children, for custody, for time with their sons and daughters. And yet, we are told that women are the ones who are oppressed. The world is upside down. How is it like this? And then you realize it's because only women's pain counts. Let's end with safety. Women treat it as though it's their exclusive struggle, as though men never face danger.
What it feels like to be a woman living in Australia at the moment. Now, given that there's been more women murdered at the hands of men in Australia of recent times, as an average woman, I am constantly needing to be aware of my surroundings. I would never go for a walk down the road in the dark by myself. This is the type of alert and warnings that we have going off in our mind and our body all of the time, because as a woman, we have to be careful all of the time, just in case someone, a man, does something to us.
She says that she needs to stay alert at all times because women are getting murdered across Australia. But the data says otherwise. As of 2022, men were 3.3 times more likely to be murdered than women. Men are more likely to be attacked in public. They are more likely to be robbed. They are more likely to be homeless. They are more likely to kill themselves. And as we've seen in Eastern Europe, if a war breaks out, men are sent to the battlefield while women take shelter. This world is not dangerous for women. This world is dangerous for everyone. But if we are comparing genders, then men are less safe. Full stop. And yet our culture bends over backwards, twisting facts and rewriting standards just for the sake of keeping women comfortable. Did you know that there was a study in 2012 that found that men receive prison sentences 63% longer than women for the exact same crime? I could list a dozen more examples, but that's not the point, because this isn't about isolated facts. It's about a pattern. Both genders suffer. The difference is in who we choose to care about. And in our culture, female pain is sacred, men's pain is invisible. Now, there is one legitimate area where women do have it a lot worse than men. And in the interest of fairness, I'm going to spend the rest of the video talking about that. You can probably guess what it is. So if you're concerned that this video has been too biased and you'd like to hear the other side, then keep watching. The full-length versions of my videos are available on Patreon. What you see posted here on YouTube, these are just the shortened, abridged versions of my videos. The full-length versions are on Patreon. And remember, if you're ready to upgrade your belt game, check out Anson Belt and Buckle.